So, welcome back to Food for Thought, Thoughts If It Were You. This is Gentrics. And last time I covered what is anger, per the request of a close friend of mine. And while I did cover as much as I could as far as what is anger, I did say I was going to cover, anger management. So, I'm going to keep my promise, and we're going to pick up where we left off with what is anger, by covering anger management today. Anger management is a term used to describe the skills you need to recognize that you or someone else is becoming angry and take appropriate action to deal with the situation in a positive way. Anger management does not mean, and I'm going to say this with as much forced intent as I can, it does not mean internalizing or suppressing the anger. This is not healthy. As I mentioned before about how anger can make you sick, internalizing it and suppressing it can also only make it worse. Anger is perfectly normal. Human emotion, and when dealt with appropriately, can be considered a very, very healthy emotion. We all feel anger from time to time, yet this feeling can lead us to say or do things that we intentionally will later regret. Anger can reduce our inhibitions and even make us act inappropriately, doing stuff that we know is wrong. Anger management concerns recognizing the triggers for anger as early as possible and expressing these feelings and frustrations in a cool, calm, and collected way. We often have learned behaviors as to how to deal with strong emotions. This includes even empathy, sadness, sorrow, goodness, and even self-control. So anger management is about unlearning ineffective coping mechanisms and relearning more positive ways to deal with the problems and frustrations associated with that anger. There are many anger management techniques that you can learn and practice by yourself or teach to others. However, if you or someone you know experiences a lot of regular anger or very strong anger, this is called rage, then seek help, and I mean real help, from like a psychiatrist, a doctor, or something. Typically a counselor will do really well. They can be more effective than just doing this and trying this yourself. Seek professional help if anger is having a long-term negative impact on your relationships, especially, is making you unhappy, or is resulting in a very dangerous or violent behavior. This being said, ask yourself this question. Do you need professional help with your anger? We'll take a short break, and then we'll pick up on that. So, with the question that I asked in the last bit, do you need professional help with anger? So, let's go ahead and go into that. If you answer yes to any of these questions I'm going to list to you, then you need professional help to help manage your anger, okay? Let me see here. Where's my list? All right. So, your behavior has led to any sort of criminal or civil wrongdoing. If that's the case, you need help. Or how about this one? You are violent towards your partner, children, or other people. You threaten violence to people or property. Or you have outbursts of rage which involve deliberately breaking things. At that point, you seriously need to get some help. You have constant arguments with people who are close to you, your spouse, your partner, your parents, your children, your colleagues, your friends. Let me take back the last one. If you're having problems with this particular one, then you need to remove yourself from all human contact and go find yourself a therapist or some kind of professional to help you. Because at this point, if you're arguing with everybody around you, you are going to end up doing something you probably shouldn't do. Going back to the first topic, the first half of the list, doing any sort of criminal or civil wrongdoing, you might accidentally actually hurt, if not kill somebody. And yes, this has happened. If you feel angry frequently but internalize the emotion, you need to seek help. You think that you may need professional help with your anger. If you think you need help, and the fact that I have to bring this up, if you, for whatever reason, think you need help, then you probably should go and seek help. Okay? The fact of the matter still remains that something is wrong, because you shouldn't even be thinking about this in the first place. If you're listening to it just to learn, that's fine. So, next I'm going to cover some anger management self-help techniques. It's important to recognize when you feel angry or experience feelings that may lead to anger. You should not try to suppress your anger, but instead try to understand it and act in a positive way to alleviate negative aspects of your anger. Now, I know I'm repeating myself, but sometimes repetition is the best teacher. Okay? So, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do, take regular exercise and keep yourself fit. The hormones that we release when we are angry, mainly cortisol and adrenaline, are similar to those produced when we are stressed to help us escape from danger. The release of these hormones is an evolutionary trait. Useful if you are trying to run away from a mammoth, a tiger, someone trying to kill you. Yes, even that last one. Or an angry rabid dog. But maybe less important in modern life where we live, the whole mammoth thing. But for the most of us, such life-threatening situations do not regularly occur. So, when you exercise regularly, your body... Let me try that again. When you exercise regularly, your body learns how to regulate your adrenaline and cortisol levels more effectively. People who are physically fit have more optimal levels of endorphins. So... Oh, hold on a sec. Endorphins are emotions that make you feel good and therefore less likely to feel anger. Okay? I just figure I should at least explain that. Moving on. Get some sleep. Now, I will cover how to sleep in another podcast, but for the most part, sleep is an important part of life, and a good quality of sleep can help combat many physical, mental, and emotional problems, including anger. However, it's best not to go to sleep angry, I assure you. When we sleep, the body and mind rest and rebuild damaged cells, neural pathways, so we all know that people often feel better after a good night's rest. The optimal level of good quality sleep is about 7 hours at night. However, everybody's different and you may need more or less based on that. So, what is sleep? The importance of sleep? How to sleep? I will cover those things at a later date because I feel that they're important. Moving on to the next one, plan difficult conversations. If you're worried about having a conversation that may leave you feeling angry, then try to take control of the situation. Make notes beforehand, okay? Planning what you want to say in a calm, assertive way. So you are less likely to get sidetracked during your conversation if you can refer to your notes. Solutions are more important than the problem, so keep this in mind. It can be helpful to identify what made you angry in the first place. However, it's more important to focus on a way to resolve the problem so that they don't arise again in the future. And with that, express yourself. Wait until you have calmed down from your anger, and then express yourself in a calm and collected way. You need to be assertive without being aggressive. And then on that note, don't hold grudges. I don't know if I can express this one enough. We all need to accept that everybody's different and we cannot control the feelings, beliefs, behaviors, or actions of other people. Try to be realistic and accept that people are the way they are and not how we would like them to be. Being resentful or holding a grudge against somebody will increase your anger and make it more difficult to control. You cannot change how other people behave or think but, and there's a but, not your but there's a but. You can change how you deal with others by working on a positive attitude. Going back to the emotional intelligence thing I covered before. Next, pick your time. Avoid conversations that make you angry when you are feeling tired, distracted, or stressed. We are more likely to feel and behave in an angry way when there are other worries on our minds. This is a tactic to combat stress as well. I'll cover that at a later date. Last but not least, humor. It's easy to use inappropriate sarcasm when you're angry. Resist the temptation to do this and instead work on introducing some good humor into potentially difficult situations. If you can control that urge to make those really sarcastic remarks, do this. If you can introduce some humor, then resentment will reduce and your mood will lift. But please, like I mentioned before, please be able to control your sarcasm. Not all of it is bad, but it does depend on how weird and awkward your sense of humor is. For some reason, now that I brought this up, I feel like I need to cover how to develop a good sense of humor. But I'll leave that for a later date. The simple act of laughing can go a long way to reduce anger, especially over the longer term. Alright? Be aware that although laughing can help you feel better, you need to make sure there is no danger of misinterpretation. Otherwise, while you may be working to reduce your anger, you could accidentally be building up someone else's. Alright, so the final thing I want to cover in this particular segment, breathe slowly and relax. Okay? Try to reverse the physical symptoms of anger by practicing some simple breathing exercises. Breathing exercises can help you relax and slow your heart rate to a more normal level. When you start to feel tense or angry, try to isolate yourself for 15 minutes and concentrate on relaxing and calm, steady breathing. I can't say that anymore intensely without it sounding like I'm upset or frustrated. Inhale and exhale deeply 3 to 4 times in a row. Count slowly to 4 as you inhale. Then count slowly to 8 as you exhale. Focus on feeling the air move in and out of your lungs. Concentrate and feel your ribs slowly rise and fall as you repeat this exercise. Stop. Revert to normal breathing if you start to feel dizzy at any given time. Okay? Be mindful of your actions and how everything you do can affect the people around you. Granted, not everything can be controlled, and for some reason there are still going to be stuff out there that will make you upset. What matters is how you deal with it. And with this, I hope this can help get you at least started working on that in a positive way. Otherwise, we're going to have to start going into more advanced topics to help fix the issue. And I feel like covering anger management therapy as well would help. But this just depends on the person. Now, granted, there are a lot of relaxation techniques out there, and I feel I should probably cover some of them. But at the moment, we'll just move on with anger management to anger management therapy. Sometimes it may be inappropriate to use the services of professional counselors and psychotherapists. I hate that word. I don't know why. To help with anger issues. Anger management therapy can be run as a group or one-on-one sessions. A professional will often say that recognizing that you have a problem and seeking help is a very positive first step towards solving the anger issues. Typically, anger management therapy sessions last between 4 to 6 weeks, although they may take longer, but this just depends on the people. When looking for a local counselor, it's important to find someone that you think that you will be comfortable with. And keep this in mind. Bear in mind that the gender, age, location, and of course expertise of the potential counselor. Please consider these before making your decision. I can't stress this enough. From a personal experience with a friend of mine who picked someone that was really awkward for him, and all it is frustrated more. Different professionals use different techniques to help overcome anger issues, and their prices may also vary considerably. So with that in mind, please don't pick the cheapest guy that you find. You'll regret it later, I assure you.